Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode 31 of the Batman on Film Social Hour. I am the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Ramey. And and with me today, I don't think you've ever been on a social hour.
Well, I was just about to ask so you're episode 31. So the vlogs are gone.
They're gone.
You reset. I leave for a year and you 86 the vlogs. That's very fitting. You guys rebranded as the Social Hour, which by the way is a lot of fun. So now this is episode 31 of the Social Hour.
Yes.
Got it.
We did
Love
a
it.
vlog. Oh, this is Rick Shew.
Hello.
So many
Hey
things.
now.
Yes. So Rick, I think the last time we did do a vlog together over a year ago. God almighty.
We did. We
was,
talked about his return.
It was after I moved to Dallas. So it was in probably somewhere in June of 2020.
And I was sitting next to you.
Yes, it was
And
here.
you know, somebody had set me up or said that we should make it look like I was in the other room in a different studio, then walk in. We never did that. It probably wouldn't have worked. But anyway,
that
was
worked. That would have
fun.
been good. Yeah, that was the last one. And
that was the last one. Then I did a couple of podcasts in 2020, and then kind of laid low for a few months, and then just recently got back in the fold with you guys, home where I belong, and launched our. You know, I've over the years I hosted, and Ryan Haas and others were doing it with me, of course. The BOF satellite episodes. They weren't the satellite show; it was just satellite episodes, right? We talked Star Wars.
It was
Rocky.
just all that Batman on Film had was the podcast. So there'd be various forms of the podcast.
Right. So
then
now,
then there was a vlog, and you and I did most of the vlogs. Most of them were on video. And
most
then
of them were.
And then I decided to change the name of just vlog. So I just wanted to do something, I mean, the social, it's a good little cool name, and it's my show. And sometimes it's video. It's always a podcast. Sometimes it's a video and a podcast.
Well, I'm glad it's not a video today as much as I like watching videos and doing them, because you text me at the last minute to do this thing and I'm not set up for video.
I'm not.
You'll probably put this damn thing up on video on YouTube anyway, just to mess with me with my my blinds hanging behind me.
I won't do it. Not with my bandana on top of my dome.
Your do-rag.
Yeah.
Rag.
This is Deion Sanders.
I couldn't remember
circa
the slang.
1995. Yes. Because we're going to work out when I'm done with this. So.
Well, that is a Deion Sanders looking.
Yeah. So it says circa 1995, the Cowboys. That was his signature.
Well, he was wearing that at the 49ers before the Cowboys.
And I'm sure with Atlanta and with Washington and then Baltimore afterwards. So anyway,
that's right. Anyway, moving on.
You didn't know all those teams he played for.
I didn't. Hey, so Bill, what zip code are you speaking to me from right now?
75068.
I am speaking to you from beautiful Cypress, Texas, just a suburb of Houston.
Let's tell that story real quick. Okay. So I moved from Tomball, Texas, which is northwest suburb of Houston, last year up to the Dallas area, Little M, basically on the border between Little M and Frisco, but with a Little M zip code and address. So, and Rick, for I don't know how many years we've done this, Rick lived in West Plano, and which is literally about, I don't know,
15 miles.
Yeah, about 20 minutes drive from where I'm at. And so now he has moved to Cypress, and where he lives, I'm not shitting you, is a stone's throw from my old neighborhood. And
the theater that we had, the first BOF watch party, so to speak, that I attended was 2012 Dark Knight Rises. But it was a somber experience because it was after the horrific shooting in Colorado, and it was just me, you, and Rachel there. You were going to be on CNN. It was all this big deal. It was terrible, but yeah. it did start a friendship, a partnership, and then it also sort of launched where we're going to have those watch parties. We had several there before we started bouncing around to DFW in Austin. Well, that damn theater, Bills, I drive by it at least twice a week. Yeah. It's around the corner from me.
Yes.
Now, I still keep residence in DFW, and I'll be there all for 4 days this week, in fact. But my primary residence is here, and we didn't swap zip codes per se, but damn, did we swap surroundings. I mean, you're yes. 10 minutes from my old house. I'm 10 minutes from your old house. That is,
you're closer. And I'm telling you, we're talking about, Dallas, Fort Worth. We're talking about the Houston area. When I say, Rick moved to Houston, he could be down in Clear Lake. And the difference between Clear Lake and Tomball is massive. I mean, that's an hour plus drive. So when I say he is a stone's throw from where I used to live, I'm serious. I mean, it's right around the corner. I mean, I lived in Tomball, butts up right next to Cypress.
And then right. And I fall in love with someone from Tomball. Yeah. I mean, not originally, but that's where she grew up.
She went through Tomball schools and is a Tomball.
Of course, it's like Venezuela to Pittsburgh to here. But anyway, so we're here, and where you lived, I meet somebody from there, not through you, mind you. In fact, I met her in the Woodlands at a steakhouse that I used to oversee for 15 years. Life is funny. It is funny. It is funny. Anyway.
Yeah.
So here we are 245 miles apart.
So back it's opposite. It's essentially the same thing as it was for years. You were in Dallas. I was in Houston for years on these shows. And now it's still Dallas and Houston, but it's the opposite.
It is swapped.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
I'm gonna never mind. Okay. So,
yeah.
So going back. So Ryan Haas launches the BOF satellite show with me. Could not find a more perfect person to do that with me, since he, in essence, helped me launch the satellite episodes anyway.
Okay, so then real quick, then, while you brought that up, explain what the satellite show is. So that's what it's called. It's called the BOF Satellite Show.
That's right.
There's one episode out.
There's one, and Ryan and I reflected on some stuff we went through in 2020 in our personal lives and talked about COVID and what everybody was going through. It was a shitty year for almost all of us, and how we came out the other side of said shitty year. And started to fall in love again with our passions, whether it was Batman or Star Wars, anything pop culture, health, sports for that matter, to really just start caring about things that mattered, that you take for granted, right? So it was a little bit of a quasi-serious conversation, but then we just set the stage for what the show is going to be about. And quite frankly, we're just going to talk about whatever. I mean, that's just it. And tell say how it came about, except, besides that first show, I mean, you had been you planned it. I planned. Just tell how it come to be. You called me, and I'll paraphrase what the conversation was. Hey, we've been bouncing back and forth about me getting back in the loop here. Garrett has taken off with the podcast, done a fantastic job with it.
Yeah, Garrett Graves is the host of the Batman on Film podcast.
That's his now, and he's earned it, and it's great. And then you've been doing a lot of stuff with Pete and a lot of the other guys on the Social Hour. So where do where did I fit in at this point? And then you're like, man, you used to host those satellite episodes. Why don't you, let's do a satellite show. And so this Tuesday night, Eric Holzman, another BOF brother, and Courtney Cheek, and she's adorable. We've had her on the show before. She's so cute, so fun, so spunky, just MCU Disney, self-proclaimed geek. And we're going to talk about our favorite Quentin Tarantino film. That's going to be a lot of fun.
So that's the purpose of the satellite show.
That's right. That's it. We have a lot of stuff on the horizon. The show after that.
Okay. Dude, and tell what the next one's about.
Well,
because it's a further demonstrates what the show's about.
So, Bob Seska's a buddy of mine. He's been on the show. He's got his podcast and Freak Bass. We all love Freak. Passionate bass player, fun DC fan. We all reached out privately on Twitter, and Bob had a great idea for an episode. Was why don't we do an episode on things that we love about a comic book movie we hate? And I thought that was hilarious. I thought that is brilliant. Because no matter, like, I'll just spoiler alert here. Mine is going to be Batman Returns, and I've never made any apologies for not liking that film, but there are things about it that I obviously love, and so I can't wait to talk about those things. So it's almost like it's cathartic in a way too, because now we're going to put a positive spin and have a positive conversation about a movie that we've shit on, or I've shit on Twitter and elsewhere for the better part of 15 years. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And then Ryan Lowry, I will never say his name properly. He'll call me Dick Shew, so it's okay. He's going to do a whole series on the Toy Story. That's a tough word, Toy Story. It reminds me when I was in theater in college, Bill, you had to say toy boat, multiple times in a row. Toy Story. Anyway, he's going to do a whole series on the Toy Story series. We're going to do Back to the Future. I mean, one of these days you'll get around to doing Smokey and the Bandit.
I've said that for years. Now there's actually a show that's
a true platform for it. And I'm going to incorporate some, not Batman specific, which probably always will find a way to bring him up, but we're certainly going to have a discussion about DC. Ryan and I talked a lot about what we're excited for in terms of what's on the horizon for 2020. We're going to have 3 cinematic Batmans on screen. That's very cool. I'm going to definitely pick Courtney's brain about what she thinks of the new Spider-Man trailer. And so we're going to always incorporate comic book stuff, even if we're talking about Quentin Tarantino films. And listen to this episode, because one of the films that was chosen between the 3 of us has a great monologue about a certain DC character, and I want to dissect that on the show. So what a perfect way to incorporate it. Some of you already may know what I'm talking about, but I'll leave it there.
Okay, that's a good segue. Speaking of 3 Batmans. 3 Batman. What?
3
Batmans. I mean, they're Batman. So if you're talking, he's not the Batman. It's Batmans with the S. That's how I always. I got a bit I do when I write that. Whatever. All right. So DC FanDome is next month, October 16th, 2021, and I'm gonna tell you. I don't know. Did you watch any of FanDome last year other than the Batman trailer?
Not really.
Okay.
Not last year, no.
Okay. So FanDome is essentially a virtual convention for DC Comics stuff and all that entails. TV, comics, movies, video games, animation, whatever. And I thought last year's thing was brilliant. It's one of the best things they've ever done. It's better than going to Comic-Con because, I mean, of course, I don't care to go to a con anymore. We've talked about that. I mean, it's just they can be nightmares.
You don't like people, Bill, and the crowds are
not
people.
Really. Yes, I mean, the last time I went to San Diego Comic-Con, and I swore I would not go back. I could barely make it through hall. The main hall of where the convention is, the main floor. It was packed literally packed like sardines. And I was like, how can you enjoy this? But anyway, that's getting off another tangent. Anyway, so FanDome is essentially an online virtual convention. It's all DC related stuff. And it's going to be very Batman heavy this year.
Yes, it is.
Because they have announced, and I know this is about a week old, or last week I reported on Batman on Film, but I haven't had a chance to really talk about it. We knew this was coming. I had said that on Batman on Film. I've said it on satellite, or not satellite shows, the social hours and wherever, that the Batman trailer. Whenever I was asked by people, when are we going to get something new from the Batman? I said DC FanDome. And people would say, that long? And I was like, dude, I mean, it's October,
It'll be here before you know it.
The movie is essentially 5 months away when the FanDome gets here. So that's plenty of time to kick off the promotion of the Batman. And that's what it really is. It's the kickoff. And they're going to show the new trailer for the Batman. Hell, I still watch that trailer from FanDome last year. The first one. At least once a week, if not more, I will put that son of a gun on and watch it.
I do as well. In fact, I saw the Suicide Squad. My wife and I went to see that a few weeks ago, and they showed the trailer. So it was the first time I'd seen it in the theater, and I could not take my eyes off of it. It's haunting. The Nirvana song is perfect. The Riddler is so fascinating. I mean, Colin Farrell looks amazing. Zoe Kravitz looks amazing. I mean, everything so far off one trailer is so damn tone perfect. I am so excited.
And that was they had only shot 25% of the film at that time.
I know. And I know there was a screening. It's public knowledge. That was about a 3-hour cut, I guess, right? And
I wouldn't say it's public knowledge, but
there's certain people on Twitter that are legitimate people that have mentioned that they've seen it, that they saw it. But anyway,
I would not say anybody legitimate has.
Okay, so let's just scratch that. My point is, it looks perfect, and I think it's going to knock our.
Yeah, let me. Yes, there has been whispers, and I am not going to get into what I know, but there have been whispers that there has been a test screening of the Batman, and there have been some people on the interwebs, Twitter, social media, saying that either they, and it's usually not they were in the test screening because you do sign an NDA, but there was one particular kid who didn't reveal any spoilers and just said someone he knows was part of the test screening and raved about the Batman. And I kind of took it as like, okay, things he was saying was so ambiguous. The things he was saying were so non-spoilerish and ambiguous that they were easy guesses based on the stuff we already know. But
sure.
He said, and I won't say what it is. He said one thing that I knew about that made me go, okay, I think he's legit.
And there's another person, I believe, from EW. I'm pretty sure that tweeted, and I don't want to waste time on this. All I'll say is that
I think they were talking about Rick with that. They were talking about
it sounded sincere, and they saw the cut, and they said it's going to blow your effing minds. And
but
it was very specifically about the Riddler, and I found that interesting. That was what that individual honed in on. But regardless, all of it looks great, whether that's legitimate or not. I somewhat regret even bringing it up, but it doesn't matter. The point is, we're about to get a FanDome is going to be its true official launch of this, and it's fascinating, Bill, because we're getting this launch of the Batman and getting all that stirred up, but at the same time, and lurking in the shadows, is Michael Keaton's return as Batman several months later after that film was released.
So part of FanDome also is there's going to be a preview of the Flash, which is Michael Keaton, who just turned 70 a couple days ago. So happy birthday, Michael Keaton, is reprising his role as Bruce Wayne Batman in the Flash. And I would not. I don't know. I think there's some sort of behind the scenes type featurette that they're going to play at FanDome for that. Look, the film is over. It's 13 months out by the time FanDome gets here. So I don't think there's any point of giving too much away and showing too much, but I suspect there may be, there's got to be a brief glimpse at Keaton as Batman. I would think. We've seen his suit. Well, we've seen the suit with a focus on the logo. The Flash director, Andy Muschietti, has been doing a really good job of tweeting little teasers out like that. He did tweet out the bat emblem at one point in Keaton's suit, and it's essentially it's the Batman Returns version of the logo, but it is the yellow oval.
It is. Well, the logo makes sense. The only part that I was somewhat disappointed in is I like the chest better from '89, but neither here or there. I don't care. I'm so excited to see him, and let's face it, the suit's going to be updated anyway. And
it's not going to be the return suit. It's going to be
cinematographer. The cinematographer, forgive me, I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, but he was talking recently about how it's really neat to see Keaton not just reprise his role, but reprise it in a modern fashion. I thought that was an interesting comment. I'm kind of curious to see exactly what that means. I'm excited. It's a great time to be a fan. I mean, really
I'm not a huge Flash fan, but I do like time travel and different reality type stories, So, seeing Keaton return is a big deal because I do love Batman '89. I love Keaton's Batman. He was the first dark and serious Batman. He's got a significant place in Batman history. And never in a million years did we think, especially, as old. Keaton's in great shape for 70, but you never thought when he was, by the time he got in his 50s or 60s and now he's 70 years old, that we'd ever see Keaton as Batman again. But here we go. And
you're right. And let's also face it, he turned down to do the Joel Schumacher film, which was eventually became Batman Forever. He walked away from that project, so he walked away from it. It's not even like he retired. If Burton had done the third film, he would have done it. But so there's something also that's really, I don't know, poetic or something about that too, that he walked away from a project he didn't believe in. And I'm not a fan of those Schumacher films. Huge fan of Schumacher as a director. Love his work. Just didn't like his take on Batman. But there's something about Keaton walking away from a project he just knew wasn't going to work for him. And then to come back, how many years is this? They were filming it in 91. That's when the magic happens, Bill.
30. No.
Just so you know, when you're on set, that's where the magic happens. Once it's in the theater, that's out of your hands.
Rick thought and tweeted that Superman, the movie, he thought it came out in 77. When everyone said that movie came out in 78, Rick goes, no, the magic happened in 77.
That's right.
And everyone let out a collective. One of my favorite memes of all time is Charlie Murphy on the
you like that meme?
Show. It fits about it. Whenever you have a hot take, quote unquote, in quotation marks, about Batman, that's the perfect meme, perfect response. Just like, that was magic, and Superman 77, it was magical.
The magic taking place in my tweet, I don't have it in front of me, was what Richard Donner and the cast was creating. Essentially, is what I was saying. And that is very true. The magic doesn't have when the movie's released, the audience will respond to it or not.
Okay.
Where was that created? Anyway, 1991 is when the magic happened, Bill. Well, I would actually, that's a bad example because I don't think there was a whole lot of magic on that set, unfortunately. But tune into episode 3 of BOF Satellite Show. A little side plug there. But anyway, it's just really neat that he's coming back 1991. I was a junior in high school.
The movie came out in 92. It'll be 30 years next year when The Flash comes out.
30 years. Wow. It's been 30 years since And I there was an interview that he was doing recently, and somebody was asking him, they're like, so what was it like, putting the suit back on? And the look on his face, he was like, it's I'm completely paraphrasing. I'm just trying to capture the spirit of what he said.
He said it's like riding a bike.
Well, he did say that, but these are separate. There's different interviews, and he's had kind of different responses. He did say that, and that was cool. But he also said that it just was this overwhelming sense of nostalgia, and like it triggered some sense memories that he wasn't expecting. And I was watching that exchange, going, man, that must have been a trip for him.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, because again, that's not something. I mean, he's 70. I mean, he was in his 40s when he did the last one.
Yeah, he was 40 years old when Returns came out, or 39.
Was he? Was he 39? Wow.
I mean, he was about to be 40. I mean, it came out in the summer, so
I'll still never forget. I'll still never forget when he was cast. And I guess it was in '88 when it was announced. And I'll never forget the Dallas Times-Herald, if you remember that paper, Bill.
I do.
Yeah. Had a big spread about what a travesty it was to cast a small, tiny comedic actor as the Batman, Mr. Mom.
Well, that was everywhere.
That was everywhere. That was the original fan Batman outrage.
It was.
I only imagine if there was Twitter in those days, but.
All right. Yes.
Now he's a fan favorite.
All right. I'm gonna reel it back in. Okay. So Keaton's back in the Flash. I don't know what we're gonna get. There was some stuff that was leaked, which it blows my mind. I mean, some of this stuff that came out, the Flash leaks, but there was like video of Ezra Miller and talking and about, and they were showing different concept art that was very spoilerish, to be honest. It came out on Twitter. Some asshole who worked on that production somehow had been leaking that stuff. So anyway, from what I heard, that they're going to show some kind of featurette for the Flash, and that's probably what that was from. So, but we probably get a look at Keaton as Batman. Of course, Ben Affleck's Batman is in the Flash as well. It's a much smaller role. Keaton's role he's essentially the co-lead in this movie, from what I've been told. Affleck's role is much smaller. In fact, he hasn't filmed anything yet. Seriously, I think he films this month for the Flash, and they're about to wrap. So do the math. But I don't know if we'll see. I mean, there's been some stuff online that was a stunt man with Affleck's Batman from the Flash, but I don't know how much we'll get of that either. But I mean, Keaton. That's the biggest thing about this movie, don't you think?
Of course it is. So
I know it's the Flash, and they've gone out of their way to say, no, this, it's Barry's movie, Barry Allen, Ezra Miller, but that's $500 says when this thing truly ramps up to opening weekend, we're gonna be seeing a lot more Keaton's Batman and promotional materials.
Yeah, call it a hunch, because it's gonna sell. And so, what is and remind me the exact? So we're looking at what's our time frame between the Batman and the Flash? 5 months?
No, Rick, I will not remind you because you don't know. I will now tell you when the Flash comes out. It comes out in November of next year. So March to November. What's the math on that, sir?
That's 6 months.
No, that's 8, right?
8 months.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can only do on the spot math.
So 8 months they got it well over a half a year.
If it's restaurant math, can I do math on the spot?
So there is the fandom will be very Batman heavy, Batman on film heavy in that regard. Also, did you know there's a new animated Batman series coming out?
I did, and to circle back to that real quick before you talk about that, what I think is smart is having it that far apart also is that there's no, I don't want to call it conflict of interest, but if it was any closer, I would think that Matt Reeves and company probably wouldn't be too thrilled about that. But at that point, the Batman will have ran its course in terms of the theatrical run, and it'll just have enough breathing room for that transition, which I think is smart from a business standpoint, but it's also great for fans that we're going to have a little bit of both, and we're going to have it at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year. So this is going to be a full year of Batman. And let's see what kind of Batmania ensues. I mean, I don't know if you can ever recapture the Batmania of 89 or for that matter, even 2008, but it should be pretty freaking awesome. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So.
I was, fortunate to have experienced both of those as an adult, really. I mean, I was, I had graduated college and at the same year Batman came, Batman 89 came out. So it was.
I was in my hometown of Mesquite, Texas, not too long ago, and I was in the neighborhood of the old AMC. It's gone, and where there was a comic book store that was just adjacent to it, and that right there was Batmania that whole summer for me. That theater, that comic book store, that whole little general area. There was a Swenson's or Swanson's, whatever it was, ice cream place where everybody met up. Because I was only 14, so we weren't having a beer discussing.
Let me ask you, bringing up the 30-year difference between Keaton in The Flash and Keaton's last turn in Batman Returns. There's a whole big segment of fans who have only experienced Keaton's Batman on home video, whether it be DVD, Blu-ray, streaming, whatever,
that's right.
Have no idea, are clueless about how big of a deal that Batmania was in 1989. So
they have no idea. And
will he still resonate with them?
I think so.
Because there's not a nostalgia. I mean, look, let's be honest. The nostalgia is people are our generation, 50s and 60s, 50s, 40s. I mean, we were young adults or kids, teenagers.
Well, and this nostalgia sells, Bill. That's why you see, Taylor Swift fans wearing Motley Crue t-shirts or Taylor Swift wearing Motley Crue t-shirts, and so their fans do, or whatever. I mean, whatever it may be, nostalgia sells. So now it's Batman, and you have an actor he's treasured. People love him in the role, and he's alive, he's healthy, he looks relatively the same, and he's able to reprise the role. It'd be just amazing if Chris Reeve was still with us and something with him was going on, but unfortunately that's not the case. But we get that with Keaton. And, I don't want to jump around too much here, but I think it's neat that looks very likely we're going to get, at the very least, Tobey Maguire, if not Andrew Garfield as well, in the next Spider-Man film. That stuff is cool. And then for that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for here? That the way that appeals to me is real. And I'm all for Keaton being in a universe with the Flash. I just am. I mean, truthfully, that Batman was going to be in Burton's Superman movie if it ever saw the light of day, as I understand it, by at the very least a cameo. I believe Burton's even on record saying that. But having the grounded Batman film that's not going to have anything to do with that stuff, that's not going to be a Batman surrounded by God, so to speak, and to have both of those at the same time, that's for me the coolest, because I got to have a little bit of both, particularly with the Batman. So I could not be, I think going into 2021 or 2022, sorry. What year is this again? I can't even keep up with years anymore, dude. I think this is the most excited I've been as a Batman fan leading up to The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, honestly.
For me, and it's the Batman, I am excited for The Flash with Keaton. I
just mean the whole year.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's very Batman heavy, Batman on film heavy year. Keaton, the cameo you're talking about, was part of Kevin Smith's script for Superman Lives.
Did Burton ever confirm that he was going to do that and use them? I can't remember.
I don't know, but I know that. But they did not. They were not going to use. That script was changed so many times. I don't know if that made it into what Burton was going to shoot in that film.
Well, and if you accept the fact that the Schumacher films are part of the Keaton films anyway, there's obviously references to Metropolis and Superman in both those films. Regardless, yes. I'm all for it. Anything to bring Keaton back. And look, let's not be surprised if this thing. I'm not a big Ezra Miller fan. I mean, I actually, from the Snyderverse stuff, I for the overall, I actually really like the casting. I think it's one of the strongest things that came out of that version of DC films. But, he didn't really do a whole lot for me, but I have an open mind about it. It's not like the guy's a bad actor. Let's see what happens. But I'm excited for Keaton's Batman more than I am anything. If he wasn't in that movie, I'd see it, but I wouldn't be looking forward to it like I am.
Okay, that's fair, and I'm with you on that for the most part. Yeah. Okay, so
you mentioned the animated.
Also at FanDome, there's a new Batman animated series coming. At some point, it's going to be on HBO Max. Rick, what's the title?
Cape Crusader, right?
You are correct. I am shocked and proud of you for knowing Batman. Batman Cape Crusader. Yes.
Batman the Cape Crusader, and J.J. Abrams is in the middle of this. I don't know to what extent. What is
Who
his
else is part of it?
I would assume Matt Reeves is, right, because he's kind of helming the whole expansion stuff.
J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves are producing it. They are producers on it, and who else is involved?
I know, but I can't remember. I know it's somebody significant, but go.
Bruce Timm.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As far as Matt Reeves' involvement and all the subsidiary things that are launching on HBO Max, live action stuff or whatever, do you think that he is, and we'll leave Cape Crusader off because that's animation. That's kind of got its own vibe, its own.
Yeah, it's its own thing. It's not part of the Batman universe.
It's not part of the Batman universe per se, or even at all, for that matter. But how do you think this story is going to be told? Like, I'll use Star Wars as an example. I know you don't really follow it. I don't know how many more Star Wars films are coming out in theaters. I mean, I know they have some on the horizon, but I think their main focus now is Disney Plus. All that stuff is working really well for them. Mandalorian, Obi-Wan, and everything, but the stories are expanding. I mean, what's happening on The Mandalorian is expanding what happens in the original trilogy, the prequels, the sequel trilogy, everything. It's like, whoa, now that ties into this and that changes that. Do you think Matt Reeves' plan is to have this universe and this story being told that is that you're weaving back and forth between his trilogy, if that's indeed what we get, and then these shows, and you just kind of piece it all together that way?
I think he is the keeper of Batman. The current keeper of Batman. What's not the keeper? What's the curator? Is that the better word?
The curator, okay.
Yeah. The safekeeper, whatever you want to use. I mean, he's doing the Batman. He's planning a story, a trilogy. There is the HBO Max series that's already the spinoff tie-in that's already been announced. And at first, I don't know if I've even talked about much about this on the show, but everyone was calling it was going to be it was going to be set in Batman's first year in Gotham and focus on the Gotham PD, and of course the Batman is set in year 2, so it's before the events of the Batman, and then the word has come that the working title is called Arkham. So that means Arkham Asylum clearly is going to have a big role in the series. And I had heard before that there were other things they were thinking about spinoffs, and one of them was a show based on Arkham. So maybe they combined the two premises into one, with Arkham and the Gotham police force being the center of that universe. And I would also think that Jeffrey Wright will be involved with, he's Gordon. He's going to be, there's going to be some cross-pollination. I think they've already said that. There's going to be some cross-pollination between that show, HBO Max series, and the Batman. So, and it wouldn't shock me if Pattinson made a cameo at the very end, like the last episode at the very end. So,
nice. Cool.
And we could get other stuff. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's a Zoe Kravitz Catwoman prestige series on HBO Max at some point.
I'm really excited to see what she does.
I'm just saying.
With that role.
I'm just saying. So anyway, back to the Cape Crusader. Batman Cape Crusader is coming out. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but it says we're going to get an very early sneak peek at that. That's, I mentioned Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm was part of Batman the Animated Series. A lot of it was his designs. So he probably has a very heavy hand in the production design of the series. And, you've seen the one pic we've seen of the image promote they've released is very 1939. The original, the Batman with the very long, ears and on the cowl. So
Yep,
looks cool to me.
Which was a live action film you and I were quasi advocating for with our buddy John. Who,
like a third, yeah, I would. Oh, I'd
Yeah.
love to see that. I mean, now with HBO Max now, you never know. You could. I mean, who knows?
Right.
I think people now are more, obviously, they're more open to different concurrent interpretations of the same character, such as Batman. Because we're going to see it next year with Pattinson in the solo films, and then Keaton and, in a lesser degree, Affleck in The Flash. So it's just, that would have been unheard of 10, 15, 20 years ago,
I mean, remember, typecasting used to kill careers.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, Chris Reeve never really did anything outside of Superman noteworthy. If I'm missing something, forgive me. I'm sure there might be something anecdotal, but his career as a whole did not. George Reeves certainly did not after the 1950s TV show. He couldn't get cast to save his life. It's fascinating. Or for that matter, Adam West, really. Now it doesn't matter. I mean, you can be Michael Keaton, play Batman, go play a Spider-Man villain, then circle back around 30 years later and play Batman again. I mean, it's just
he's playing
at the same time as another Batman is going to be on film that has nothing, or in the cinemas that has nothing to do with yours.
He's playing the Vulture again in a movie the same year as The Flash comes out, where he's going to be Batman. He's in Morbius, which is the Jared Leto. You know the character Morbius?
Yeah,
Morbius
and he's
the vampire.
Yeah, and he's in a film with Jared Leto.
Yeah. That's a Spider-Man verse Sony thing,
I've told this on podcasts of yesteryear, but I'll just say this. In the late 90s, I did DC stunt shows for Six Flags, and I was Superman, and we had Batman, Batgirl, Green Lantern, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the show, there was a big meet and greet with the characters and kids. They would not let me meet the kids. Had to fly off. Why? It was all in my contract, because Dean Cain was the face of Superman, and they did not want a conflict of interest. In San Antonio, Texas, DC property did not want Rick Shew Superman in the summer of 1998 interacting with children so it wouldn't confuse them, because Dean Cain was the face of Superman. That's how sensitive that kind of stuff was.
Yeah.
And now, who gives a damn? You've got CW Superman, you've got Henry Cavill. Well, maybe not now, but you did at one point. Coexisting. Obviously, you got these various Batmans. It's a whole different world, and it's great because it's making great actors want to come to these projects anyway, because they are, when they're done well, they're some of the best cinema around, and they know that doesn't ruin their careers.
True, absolutely true. I mean, Robert Pattinson reinvented himself as an actor. He's a fantastic actor. He reinvented himself after the Twilight. I don't know why he gets shit for the Twilight movies, but I mean, some of these people, I'm like, okay, you need to see some of this other stuff that he's done post Twilight. And this dude wouldn't have taken on the role of the Batman as Batman and pursued it if it hadn't been some kind of release. There was a lot of meat on that bone, and then not going to do something that we've seen before,
Bill, he turned down millions of dollars too. To do blockbuster films, or maybe not blockbuster, but certainly high profile films, to do independent films where he made money, but in terms of being an A-list actor like he was, he did not make money. And it was all just to hone in on his craft and make himself a better actor and take interesting roles and work with interesting directors. Mm-hmm. And I think all of that was, and then it's funny, it ends up kind of being inadvertently being a dress rehearsal to perhaps give us the most compelling Batman that we've ever had on film, if all goes well.
His casting reminds me of Bale. They're very similar as actors in terms of, excuse me, and
in terms of, well, I would say that, not to step on your toes here, but just in terms of their training and
Yes.
their caliber of acting. And I mean, to me, Christian Bale was American Psycho. And then when I found out he was cast, to me, I thought, man, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's see what this crazy bastard does with the role. With Pattinson, it was a little bit more of a, we're taking more or less a soap opera star on the surface, but if you dive into his work, you'll see he's done some amazing things. I didn't see the Lighthouse. I never saw that, but I should get around to watching it. You know, I'm William Dafoe's biggest fan, so it's shocking that I haven't seen it yet. But I do hear that Pattinson's performance in that is rather riveting.
My son Micah Ramey raves about that movie, and sorry, there I had a frog in my throat. But I mean, they're both chameleon type actors,
right?
You know what I mean?
It's a good word.
So yeah,
it's a really good word for them. I threw the Gary Oldmans of the world in that category.
Yeah,
as well. Well,
yeah.
Who incidentally was Gordon, which is. I honestly didn't even think about that when I said it. I really didn't. I was thinking True Romance and Dracula, and I was just, and all of a sudden,
yeah,
which is a testimony to the man's work. I mean, right? That he's you forget the parts he's done sometimes because it's not him. That's just Gordon.
So
yeah.
Finish up with the FanDome stuff, and we'll get out of here. They're gonna be promoting Peacemaker. That's gonna be a new series coming out on HBO Max, a spinoff of the Suicide Squad. What's your interest level in that with John Cena?
All I know is that I love that character. I love that performance. I love that movie. My wife loved that movie. She loved it so much. She had never seen the first one or other one, however we want to reference it. But we came home and put that in a couple of days later, and it was just sort of a testimony to how much she loved it. So to answer your question, I'm all for it.
What did she think about the first one?
Well, we didn't watch it in its totality. We had it on. We were cooking. She liked it. She liked the Harley Quinn stuff. She liked Will Smith in it. You know what she didn't like? And I'm not just saying this. She cringed when Affleck came on screen as Batman. She's like, God, this ruins it for me. I just cannot see him. I don't like his Batman. But other than that, and I don't hate his Batman, so I'm not trying to like bash the guy. I'm just saying that was the only thing she wasn't a fan of. But no, what we saw, which was probably 50% of the movie when it's all said and done. But it doesn't. To me, the new one is definitive. That is just mayhem for 2 hours plus. It's
you in or out on Peacemaker? You're going to watch it on HBO Max?
No, that's my point. I am.
Okay.
I loved it, and I loved his role in it. So yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
They're also going to do something at FanDome, some kind of small presentation of Black Adam, which has already been filmed with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. What's your interest level in that? That's
I'll see it. I mean, look,
you liked Shazam, didn't you?
I like Shazam. I like him a lot. Moana is like my daughter's favorite Disney film, and I freaking love that movie. And he makes that movie for me. He's delightful. He's so great with fans. He's such a positive energy that I'll more or less support that guy's stuff no matter what. And of course, it's DC property, so yeah, I'm down. Am I super stoked? Not really, but I'm down. I wasn't super stoked for the Suicide Squad either, and I walked out loving it. So that's sometimes how that works.
I am excited for Black Adam mainly because the Justice Society is in this, and I'm a fan of old Golden Age comic book characters, and this was the Justice Society was the precursor of what ended up them creating the Justice League in the early 1960s, and it's some very old school. Dr. Fate is in it, so it's going to be fun to watch that and see how it's tied into the Shazam universe as well, because Black Adam is traditionally a Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, Shazam villain. So
I'm really looking forward to Shazam. I think I really am. I think it's going to be fun.
The new Shazam?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I am. I'm looking forward to James Wan's Aquaman. I like the set photos he released yesterday, or I don't know, set photos, but
promo steals.
Promo
Momoa,
steals.
he's in the original Aquaman gold and what is it? Yellow, gold, and green suit, and then he
looks so badass.
He's got some black suit now that there are people having some meltdowns online. You know,
fandom.
Did you know that sometimes fans have meltdowns over images from superhero movies that are released and casting and casting.
I know it's the third or fourth time I've brought my wife up on this podcast, so whatever, I'm doing it again. My wife has never been exposed to this stuff before. She's never been exposed to fandom. She just loves movies and goes to the movies. She marries me, and now that I'm kind of getting back into it and back with you and Team BOF, I'm starting to show her this stuff, and it's jaw dropping to her. She's like, why are people reacting this way? I go, it's welcome to fandom, and this is nothing new. It's just now they have a big microphone on Twitter, but it is we've got to write a book about fandom one day. But yeah, the meltdown on Twitter. Everybody sees a still from a film or even one trailer, and they freak out and they overanalyze the film, but they see a poster for it and the movie's going to suck. This is trash. This is hot garbage. Restore my certain universe, whatever, blah, 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 blah. All I know is that see it all in context. When will fans learn their lesson? I do not know.
I don't. I'm just telling you what I heard. That there's meltdowns sometimes online.
There's meltdowns online.
And all sorts of shenanigans on the Twitterverse and other social media. I could really go on a tangent right now, but I'm not going to, Rick. I am not going to.
Well, so let's wrap it up.
That's what I'm saying. It's okay.
I haven't even had breakfast yet, Bill. I need to eat.
So plug the Batman on Film again.
Yes.
Plug the Batman on Film satellite show, please.
Yes, and the Batman on Film satellite show is and it's at BOF Show. So follow us there
on Twitter.
And then tune in. It'll be on if you have subscribed to Batman on Film, it'll be on that feed on iTunes, etc.
Yeah.
And the second episode will record this Tuesday, and Courtney Cheek and BOF Eric Holzman and I will discuss our favorite Tarantino film. The show after that will be Bob Seska and Freakbase, and we'll be discussing Bob's topic of things you love about a shitty comic movie, which I think is fun. And then after that, we're Ryan and I are kind of mapping some things out, and Ryan Lowry will do his thing, and I know that Ryan Haas wants to host some stuff as well. The show belongs to Team BOF. I'm just kind of launching it. I'll be the primary host of it, but there'll be a lot of Team BOF guys hosting stuff that
so if someone has
our passion projects for them.
So if someone listening has an idea, suggestion for a topic for the show, they can tweet it to you where?
At Shew Rick. Send it there, SHEWRICK, and let us
Anywhere
know.
Else?
At BOF Show as well, obviously, and at Batman on Film. And follow everything on the Batman Podcast Network that has all the shows. But send us a request for a topic.
Send them to Rick at Shew Rick or at BOF Show. Any suggestions for and non-Batman stuff primarily? We'll handle any Batman things, but ideas that whatever, like just I don't care. Send them.
Could be anything, like a franchise that you like. Like I said, Back to the Future is something we're going to do. I want to cover the Matrix films. Now there's a fourth Matrix coming out. We're definitely all over that. We'll be covering, I want to get Aaron Viola back from Fanboy Garage. She's a great guest, and cover the Obi-Wan stuff when that gets launched. And, man, we're just going to cover anything that's pop culture centric. And, of course, we are definitely going to talk Batman. We'll let BOF proper handle that primarily, obviously. We will not step on those toes or overlap too much, but we're all going to be talking about shit going on next year. There's no doubt about it. But that's the primary purpose of this show, is have a platform where we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. Any franchise, any books. Bill, we could do a show on what's our favorite gravy recipe. Who cares?
Oh, well, and I was just about to say, and I'm serious. I've been saying this for years. I want to figure out how in the hell we can do a cooking show. And this would be a perfect platform for it. So there's some homework. Come up with that. Because I like to cook. You like to cook. Eric likes to cook. Pete likes to cook. A lot of these Batman on Film dudes like to cook and have recipes and stuff. And I've been wanting to do it forever. Me and Eric have talked about it. So I'm putting that on you. Come up with how we're going to do that.
We can do it.
Yeah. All right.
Let's do it. All right.
All right. So you can follow me on Twitter at Batman on Film. If you want just the links to news stuff, it's at the Batman on Film. Follow me on Instagram at Batman on Film. Whatever. Go to Batman on Film. You'll find me there. Whatever. So announcer Rachel will take us out. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Batman on Film Social Hour, Jett's official BOF podcast and vlog. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film. For BOF news only on Twitter, follow at the Batman on Film. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original Batman on Film.